Okay, so like everyone wants to find that path to success, right? And we're diving into success reinvention today. We've got a lot to unpack. Notes, the e-course, even like those motivational quote images.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
But don't worry, that's what the deep dive is for. We're gonna separate the signal from the noise.
Find those golden nuggets.
Exactly. And one of the things that really struck me about success reinvention was how Dr. Castro talks about reinvention itself. It's not this like massive life overhaul.
Right, it's not like hitting a reset button or anything.
Yeah. It's more of an ongoing process.
Like a journey, he says, that you're on throughout your life.
Which is encouraging because it means like no matter where you are right now, you're not stuck. You've always got the power to make a change. But he doesn't just tell you to go climb a mountain. He gives you tools like that productivity ladder idea. I have to admit, I'm a visual person, so this one really clicked for me.
Yeah, it's a powerful image. Instead of being overwhelmed by this big, abstract idea of success, you're picturing a ladder. Each rung is a step.
And those individual rungs, those are the smaller victories.
Exactly. Like it breaks those big goals down into manageable steps. He even says it in one of those images, take your time and enjoy each victory. Start at the first rung of the ladder. You don't need to have it all figured out to get started.
I think that's so key for our listeners, especially for our learner persona, who might be feeling like overwhelmed. It's about celebrating those small wins. But what makes success reinvention different is it doesn't just talk about setting goals, it gives you a framework for action, like that triple E process.
So important, right? For turning inspiration into, actual results.
Right. So tell me more about how this triple E process works.
So it's all about systematically, how do I put it? Systematically addressing the things that are holding you back. And then strategically using your strengths. First, you eliminate what are those bad habits, the distractions, those negative thoughts, all that stuff that gets in the way.
It's like clearing the path, right, before you start climbing.
Exactly. And then you engage. This is where you're fully committed. You're giving it your all, like really being present.
No more multitasking, right? Or just kind of checking things off the list.
Right. And then finally, elevate. This is where you look at your progress, see what needs work, and keep getting better.
So it's constantly leveling up, even on the small things.
Exactly. I think that's something that really speaks to learners, that whole continuous improvement thing.
It's not just about, checking boxes. It's about getting better every step of the way. And Dr. Castro is really straightforward about the work involved, which I appreciate. He's basically saying you can dream all day long, but you're not going to get anywhere without putting in the work.
Oh, he's big on action. But it's not just about mindless hustle either. He talks about the power of belief and how your mindset can either help or hurt you.
So it's more than just working hard. It's also about believing you can achieve those goals.
Right. Absolutely. He has this quote, what you believe, you will achieve. If you're always doubting yourself or focused on failing, well, you're probably right. But if you actually believe in yourself, you can achieve so much more.
It makes sense. If you don't think you can do it, why even try, And his own story is a great example of that. I mean, talk about starting from scratch. He had to overcome a lot early on.
And that's what makes his message so powerful. He's not just talking. He's been there. He's faced challenges, dealt with doubts, and still achieved success.
Which is incredibly inspiring, especially for those who might be struggling or feeling stuck.
And this is where his focus on your why comes into play. He talks about how crucial it is to find that deeper motivation, that driving force that fuels you.
Right. It's not about a better job or more money. It's about the deeper why behind those things.
Exactly. I think for the learner, that's key. They're looking for a deeper meaning, a purpose behind their actions.
So how does he suggest we go about uncovering our why? Because that seems like a journey in itself.
Well, he actually has a whole module in the e-course called Uncovering Your Why. It's all about self-reflection,
Okay.
Journaling prompts, thought experiments, things to help you figure out what really motivates you deep down.
It's like he's giving you a flashlight to explore your own mind.
Exactly. And once you figure out your why, everything else just kind of falls into place, your goals, your actions, they all align.
Like you found your North Star.
Right.
Guiding you through those tough times.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of tough times, Dr. Castro doesn't sugarcoat the whole obstacle thing. He actually wants you to see them as chances to grow.
Oh, absolutely. He says challenges and setbacks, they aren't failures, they're how you learn. There's this one image, I love it. It says, mental strength gives us the ability to see the obstacles in our path as stepping stones.
Ooh, I like that. Instead of getting discouraged, you're using those roadblocks to get even stronger. But that doesn't mean it's like easy, right? How do we deal with the fear that comes with those obstacles?
He talks about that in his Secrets to Reinvention module. One thing he stresses is like your environment. Surround yourself with good people. That's a game changer.
It's like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
100%. Think about it. If you're always around negativity, people doubting you, it's going to be way harder to stay positive.
So it's about building like a support system, people
Yeah.
who believe in you, even when it's hard.
Exactly. And he gives like practical tips too for dealing with negative self-talk and stuff.
Oh, interesting. So recognizing those thoughts and like actively changing them.
Yes. And that takes practice. It's not like an overnight thing.
Yeah.
But you can train yourself to be more positive, to see challenges as opportunities.
That's the learner in us, right? Always growing.
And that brings us back to success reinvention, not being about some finish line, you know? It's about constantly growing and evolving.
Yeah, it's not, I'm at the top, I'm done. It's about enjoying the climb, the challenges, becoming a better you.
Yes. And that's where planning comes in. Dr. Castro doesn't just want you to dream big. He wants you to plan for it.
Right. He had
Yeah.
that whole success plan module.
Exactly. He breaks it down. Setting goals, taking action, owning your choices, shaping the outcomes, dealing with fear, staying positive. It's about being proactive.
Taking control.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's so empowering, especially when it feels like so much is out of our control.
Totally. Like you might not control everything that happens, but you control how you react to it.
Right. You can let it defeat you or learn from it.
And that's powerful. This has been so insightful. We've covered so much, from the power of belief to obstacles to growth. But what happens when, life throws a wrench in our plans? What if, like, despite our best efforts, things just don't go our way?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Dr. Castro, he knows life doesn't always go according to plan.
Mhm.
Actually, he thinks those detours, those are all part of it.
Yeah. So it's not about, like, clinging to the plan no matter what. It's more about adapting.
Exactly. He wants you to see your journey as like a series of experiments.
Oh, I like that. So instead of being afraid to go off track, you're using every experience to, like, learn and adjust.
Yes. Be open to new possibilities. Let your why be your guide, even if things get a little, off track. Remember how we talked about that deep-rooted motivation? That's your compass.
It's like, even if the map is wrong, you can trust your gut to point you in the right direction.
Exactly. And that's the cool thing about success reinvention. It's not about some perfect picture of success. It's about the journey, the messy, unpredictable, but amazing journey of becoming your best self.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Yes. And realizing that reinvention isn't a one-time thing. It's constant growth, adapting, evolving.
It's not about the destination. It's about enjoying the ride.
Right.
And learning along the way.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe those detours, they lead to something even better than you imagined.
That is inspiring. This has been such a great deep dive. We talked about believing in yourself, finding your why, seeing obstacles as opportunities. But most importantly, we learned that success isn't a straight line. It's a winding, surprising journey. So, as we wrap up, what's one thing you want our listeners to take away from this?
I think the biggest thing is to remember reinvention is a process. It's about always learning, growing, becoming the best you, no matter where you are in life.
I love that. And for everyone listening, if you're feeling stuck or unsure of your next step, remember, you have the power to reinvent yourself. You can create a life that's both meaningful and fulfilling. Start by asking why. Find that motivation, let it guide you. Embrace the unknown, experiment, and don't be afraid to write your own story.
I'm often asked, what is success? At the end of the day, success will be defined by you, what you think is important. But in order to get success, I look at it as a map. Know where you're going so that you know where you're going every single day. Make sure you're aligning your short-term, middle-term, and long-term goals so that we can get to your goal. Whatever it is that you're wanting to do, make sure you use the principles of this book to help get you there. One of the things that I appreciate the most was going into the Army. The Army gave me the tools to be a very strong leader. It gave me the tools to understand what pressure was, being exhausted, standing at ease at 4 in the morning with my eyes closed, about to pass out. But looking back, that was excellent because that made me stronger as a person. I then realized how mentally strong I am and physically strong I am. And it really gave me the tools to succeed and become the person I am today.